With a network potentially being bought and more, this is Pro Wrestling Central. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Mentioning the online criticism she has received over missing her volley kick against Becky Lynch at Clash in Paris, Nikki Bella noted on her podcast, "I wanted to share something from Raw because I feel like it applies to anything we do in life when it comes to failure and success. When I was talking with my producer, there was another coach around. They were telling me to hit the volley kick, and I said, I don't think I want to tonight. It was because of everything that happened at the PLE in Paris and all the hate I got online. I just didn't feel like doing it. One of the old school wrestlers, one of the legends who's a coach now, looked at me and said, no, you will hit it tonight, and you're going to hit it damn good. That is a great move that you've built up for many years, and just because it didn't work one night doesn't mean you stop doing it." He told me, "I didn't grow up with social media. When I had failures in the ring, I wasn't getting destroyed online. We failed at something, we just redid it. We just kept going. There was never a thought of, I'm not doing that again. Sometimes it just doesn't work. So no, you're going to do it, and you're going to do it so great that will build that move up again and make it mean something." I said, "You know what? You're right." My producer agreed, and I went out and did it. But you know what? That lesson goes beyond wrestling, especially with social media. When we fail, people want to attack us or remind us of that failure. It creates insecurity, a mental trigger that makes us afraid to try again. Having someone tell me, no, do it, and push me out of my comfort zone was powerful. It could have failed again, but instead it worked. And it taught me something important about perseverance. Taking a shot at Triple H's booking of WWE, former writer for the company, Vince Russo, said this on Behind the Turnbuckle. "See, I've not yet been able to figure this out because he has clearly shown us what his booking style is. And if we look at what's happening right now, he's stockpiling the pops. That's what he's doing. Every night, if Netflix says something, if USA says something, if that number goes down to a 1.1, oh, who's next up? Is Liv Morgan ready? That's what he's doing. He's stockpiling the pops, but all that's doing is telling people you don't have to watch this 2-hour show. Go watch the Minute Pop on YouTube. So, it's the card up his sleeve. That's the card up his sleeve. But like I said, that card is turning people away from watching the product." When it comes to the possibility of an NXT star being called up to either Raw or SmackDown, Ringside News wrote that Ethan Page may be making waves in WWE NXT alongside Chelsea Green, but fans hoping for a main roster move might have to wait a little longer. Despite Page's strong on-screen presence and history with televised wrestling, there are no current plans to bring him to Raw or SmackDown. WWE hasn't initiated any movement to elevate him from NXT, even with his growing popularity. That hasn't stopped Chelsea Green from trying to change that. According to sources close to WWE Creative, Chelsea Green has been repeatedly pitching for Page's main roster call-up. It's not a one-time suggestion. Green has consistently pushed for the duo to bring their act from NXT to the main stage. She even brought it up in an interview with USA Today, making it clear she sees bigger potential for both of them. Chelsea Green actively and often makes pitches for Page to move to the main roster, where their specific act can continue, Fightful Select reported. Still, for now, Page's future remains in NXT. The idea is on the table, but it's being kept cold by the decision makers. Staying on the topic of NXT stars heading up to the WWE main roster, Bodyslam.net reported WWE still fully intends to call Jordynne Grace up to the main roster. However, the timeline for Grace's call-up was pushed back earlier this year, and sources indicate that it is not imminent but is still in the works. Talking about Chris Jericho, who could see his AEW deal expire at the end of the year, president of the company, Tony Khan, told the Torg and Elliott show, "Chris Jericho's been here since the very beginning, and I have so much great respect for Chris Jericho. I do really have to say I would love to have Chris Jericho in AEW anytime. Yeah, we absolutely want Chris Jericho back in AEW, and hopefully soon. He's been great with us, and he's been with us since the very first event, the very first AEW World Champion, and Chris is a huge part of the history of AEW and still in great shape, still a great wrestler." Asked if Jericho will return to the AEW ring, Khan said, "Well, I think you got to stay tuned to the show. That's one of the reasons you watch the wrestling show, is to see the returns. And we just talked at the beginning of the call about, keeping secrets and stuff like that, so I think stay tuned." Not long ago, Jericho addressed rumors of returning to WWE, as he told Daily Mail, "So I'm not going anywhere for a while. I'm still with AEW for right now. Would I go back to WWE? I wouldn't be opposed to it. We just have to see what happens. But the best thing that can happen is that you have two great teams that you can play for, and that just makes everything bigger and more exciting." Providing an update on Liv Morgan, who has been out of action from WWE since June 16th, Bodyslam.net reported Liv Morgan has returned this week to the Performance Center, continuing with her injury recovery. It is not known exactly at what stage she is in regarding recovery, and if the timelines are correct, she is right in the middle of the given time frame. She is scheduled to appear today in the special announcement that WWE will make from Las Vegas. As Dave Meltzer reported that Stephanie VAQUER had suffered a minor injury and that this was the reason her segment on Raw was cancelled, VAQUER addressed this, telling Adrian Hernandez, "No, I saw social media. Sometimes many things are not real. There's no injuries. I'm ready for Raw next Monday." Here's the quote from Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio. "She has a minor injury. That's the situation. I was told by WWE that it's a minor thing. It's nothing to worry about, and she's going to be doing matches going forward. It came right from the company. They weren't certain about the severity of the injury on Monday. I heard about it on Tuesday. I asked after she wasn't there, what's going on? And they just said, minor injury. She's going to be on the pay-per-view most likely." Unfortunately, Jerry Lawler suffered another stroke. As Ringside News noted, Jerry the King Lawler has suffered another stroke, forcing him to cancel a scheduled appearance at a convention. TMZ Sports reported that the WWE Hall of Famer experienced the medical issue last Friday while staying at one of his homes in Florida. His daughter has since stepped in to bring him back to his primary residence, where he plans to rest and recover over the next several weeks before easing back into normal activities. Lawler was originally set to appear at Horror Hound Weekend in Cincinnati, but event organizers announced that he would not be attending, citing personal matters. Concern quickly spread among fans until the real reason became known. This is just the latest health battle for the legend, who recently underwent knee replacement surgery and is still working through the recovery process. Despite these setbacks, Lawler's resilience continues to shine through. His career has spanned decades filled with both in-ring success and real-life challenges, and his fighting spirit remains intact. The wrestling world has rallied around him once again, with fans and peers sending their love and support as he focuses on recovery. Lawler's determination has always been a defining trait, and this moment serves as another reminder of the toughness that earned him his Hall of Fame status. Going over the possibility of Warner Bros. Discovery being bought by Paramount, Ringside News said, "In what could become one of the most aggressive media power plays in recent years, Paramount Global is reportedly preparing a majority cash offer to buy out Warner Bros. Discovery. an ambitious move backed by the billionaire Ellison family. According to the Wall Street Journal, sources close to the situation say Paramount's bid would be for the entire company. That means Warner's vast empire, including its movie studios, TBS, TNT, and the entire legacy cable portfolio would be part of the deal. The acquisition would completely reshape the streaming and television landscape and send shockwaves through the entertainment industry. This news arrives just months after Warner Bros. Discovery revealed plans to restructure into two core operating divisions, one to oversee traditional cable television and another focused on its studio and streaming business. That shift now seems to be the prelude to a much larger transition, potentially under new ownership. The Ellison family, whose Skydance Media is already deeply entrenched in Hollywood, is expected to provide the financial firepower behind the offer. Paramount has already been on the move. In a separate major media deal, the company recently inked an agreement to bring UFC content under the Paramount umbrella, including placement on Paramount Plus and broadcast exposure through CBS. With TKO Group's MMA giant on board and a potential Warner takeover looming, Paramount is poised to reshape its entertainment portfolio in a massive way. The big question now, what happens to AEW? Warner Bros. Discovery is the home of All Elite Wrestling through TBS and TNT, and any shakeup at the ownership level could have serious consequences for the company's future on cable. With WWE's UFC content coming in through the Paramount side and AEW tied to Warner's networks, the deal could spark one of the most competitive wrestling content battles in recent history. And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all later.